Good morning, YouTube. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So today we are going to be talking about two katanas in particular for the braver, which is the Khlophis and the Tenebrous. Now, of course, I cannot say the full name of the Khlophis because I am dumb, so we're just going to call it the Khlophis and the Tenebrous because that's what the Tenebrous is. But we're going to be comparing the two and essentially going over which one is the best. Now, I've heard that there's a video saying that the Tenebrous has the best damage output, but if you look ever so slightly closer, the Khlophis has the higher base attack. So we're going to be looking at and going over my swords in particular and the potentials that they have and seeing which one is possibly better or just which is better for overall content. What is good, people? We are getting into the video and we are going to be going over the Khlophis and the Tenebrous, which in my opinion are two of the best katanas for the braver. Currently, right now, they're both 8 stars, and they both hit pretty hard in their both respective categories, in my opinion. But first, we're going to be going over the Khlophis. So the Khlophis has a base attack of 685. You can equip it at level 62, which isn't a problem if you main a braver, because in the main story, you automatically get bumped up to 70. But we're going to be going over the current augments that I have, why do I feel that each one is good in its own right, and overall which one is better for overall content. So right now with the weapon up for attack, it's at a 7.9%, which is okay. It could be a lot higher, but shit, you know what I mean? But currently with the augments that I currently have on it, I have Might 4, which gives it a 3.0% weapon potency. Form Soul 2, which gives it a 2% weapon potency, as well as a 2% damage resistance. Melra Durable 4, which gives it a 2.75% weapon potency, melee and range. And Dreadkeeper 4, which gives it HP plus 50, PP plus 10, a potency floor increase of 6%, and a damage resistance of 3%. Now, the reason why, not just because of the augments, of course I put the best augments in my opinion on it, which is fiercely based mainly on the weapon potency, but why I think that overall it just has it's just better. It's just because you can get it at the item trader in 3 levels. There's the 15, 30, and 200 Infernium that you can put towards it. Now, of course, the 15 you get no fixer on it. The 30 you get the fixer attack level 1, which I currently have, which gives you a 2% potency. And then at the 200 mark, you get the Fixer level 3, which gives you a 4% boost in potency. But that's not the only thing. That's not the only reason. The potential on it. The potential on it is fantastic in my opinion. And why I think overall this weapon is probably better than the Tenebrous. Overall. Now, with the potential of instant death unit level 4, which I have at its max, it gives me a potency of plus 19%, damage resistance plus 5%, and then a potency of plus 6% and damage resistance plus 5% towards dolls. Now, of course, dolls being the main enemy that we are fighting, you can see why I would say that this is probably the better one, just because not only does it give me just a whole bunch of damage resistance and potency, but it's towards dolls. which is our main enemy that we fight, and it's a consistent passive active perk. And what I mean by passive active is that I don't need to do anything besides just fight dolls. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to dodge. I don't have to do any specific amounts of hits or anything like that. It just procs. That's it. It just procs. I get that. So that's the Khlophis at its plus 50. Now once it hits 60, probably after January 24th, I'll probably do another review of it, and if they haven't put any more weapons out. But just for right now, as far as the 8 stars, this one I feel is probably one of the best, if not the best. But I know there's videos that claim that the Tenebrous is actually better, and we're going to go over that right now. So I currently have the Tenebrous at plus 50. Base attack is 613. Equipment conditions is at level 60, which you'll easily hit. The weapon attack is at the melee, at least, is at 4.3%, which is meh. And then the potentials that I have it on there, or not potentials, but the augments that I have on there is Vardy Soul 3, which gives it a HP plus 25, potency plus 2.25%. The All No Note, which gives it another HP plus 10, PP plus 3, and a potency floor increase of plus 2%. Gigas Might 2, which gives it HP plus 10%, melee weaponcy plus melee weaponcy potency plus 2%. God, I can't talk for some reason. Ice Exploit 2, potency plus 4% against enemies weak to ice. And Dreadkeeper 4, which gives it a HP plus 50, PP plus 10, potency floor plus 6%, and damage resistance plus 3%. Now, with the Ice Exploit and the Vardy Soul 3, those came on the weapon itself. This weapon, when you get it from the seasonal vendor, it does come with its own perks. And I think that there's like a holiday one where, you know, for the year of 2022, 2023, it gives you like a plus 10% or plus 15% crit damage as well. But I just felt like once the season ends, it's not going to be really anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be anything viable towards the later year, in my opinion, which is why I took it off and I just replaced it with other augments, as well as there was like one other perk that it had that gave it a negative 10. I think it was either negative 10 damage resistance or negative 10 all resistance or something like that. But I took that off just because, even though it did give me I think a higher potency, I just didn't like the fact that it gave me a negative in my stats. I don't like negatives, so I decided to go away with the negative and just replace it with something else. Now, just overall, this is a good weapon. I mean, it's not bad. Now, the potential on it is a potency plus 15%, critical hit rate plus 15% for 30 seconds when you hit successfully. When you successfully dodge a negate or negate an attack with weapon action or sidestep. Now, this is a situational like perk, in my opinion, just because of the simple fact that you have to either successfully dodge or negate an attack with a weapon action or sidestep, which is why I feel like the Khlophis is probably better in that perspective, just because it's a passive perk that just actively procs, versus this one I actually have to do something in order for this to proc, and it has a time limit on it. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a cooldown. It doesn't say that it has a cooldown. It could have a cooldown, but in me using it, I haven't seen that cooldown. So I don't think there is a cooldown. I just think it just continuously procs if you do the weapon action or sidestep. Now, of course, with the Braver, it's completely different with the Braver, just because the Braver does have the counter. It has the counter action and the weapon action, so it's actually really, really good as far as for the Braver. But if you're not attacking, or if you're not consistently using your weapon action or sidestepping, if the monster's not attacking, like let's just say it goes into a stun, and you haven't had any successful weapon actions or sidesteps or dodges. Let's just say that critical hit rate that you're supposed to be getting doesn't proc. Or if it procced earlier, that 30 seconds is probably already gone. Now 30 seconds is a nice bit of time, but 30 seconds could definitely go by in the blink of an eye when you're fighting, especially a high defense, high health bar enemy. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to this, it's good, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's okay, especially in the later content, because this has an ice element to it. So if it was to go against any enemies that's weak against ice, which is currently this season, it would be it's fantastic. It is fantastic. It's a fantastic weapon. It hits extremely hard for those that's weak against ice. It's perfect. But if it's not weak to ice, then it's just kind of a regular. It's kind of a regular katana. I mean, essentially, it's no better than the Khlophis, because the Khlophis doesn't have any element on it. And then on top of that, just the potential blitz unit. I mean, it's good, but it's not great. In my opinion, it's not great. Of course, in the Braver's hands, it's really good, just because you're constantly countering. But if you don't have a successful counter, then it's just not going to proc. Now, before we go into just showing you the differences between the damage, because I do have some gameplay on the Urgent Quest monster that's weak to fire, just because I just wanted you to see the differences between fighting with both weapons. I just want to give you my opinion on the augments, why I chose these augments, and what I feel would probably be the best bang for your buck, as well as what I feel that you should put on there. You know what I'm saying? So Might 4 I feel is a great augment to put. It is extremely, I don't want to say extremely expensive, but it's pretty expensive on the personal shop. So if you want to just grind out Urgent Quest, you could get Might 4s in the Urgent Quest, and that'll drop for you. I think it either drops 1 or 2. So, if you grind it a nice little bit, you'll definitely end up getting the 10, and you could put Might 4. Form Souls 2 is good. It's good. Don't get it twisted. It's good. But I know Form Soul 3 is also good. It's slightly better. If I remember correctly, it gives you that 0.5% increase. So it'll, instead of it being 2%, it'll be 2.5% on both the weapon potency and the damage resistance, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 2.75, but I'm pretty sure it's 2.5. With the Melra Durable 4, I don't know. I really didn't have anything. I really would have rather have Gigas Might on there, but I didn't at the time have any Gigas Might. I might put Gigas Might on this, just because I don't like the fact that I have range on there. But the 2.75 just looked really appealing, and I just said, you know what, bump it. I'll just put it on there, and if I want to replace it, I'll just replace it. And this is the biggest one. Dreadkeeper 4 is, in my opinion, I think is worth either grinding for, or if you got some if you got a good bit of Meseta that you're not using for anything, and you know you're not going to be using it for anything, this is good to spend your money on. Now, I just so happen to have grinded enough for 10 to get it at, I think, the 80% mark. And then, of course, with the augmentation success rate bump, I think it was like plus 10%, which bumped it up to 90. That gave me the ability to put that on there. But the HP plus 50, PP plus 10, 6% potency floor increase, plus the 3% damage increase. I mean, damage resistance is just absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, there's other ones like that gives you higher potency, I think, or higher melee weapon potency. But in my opinion, it just, the HP plus 50, the PP plus 10, because I want to have a higher HP and PP higher. But I have no negative drawbacks when it comes to using this augmentation. And that's really what I'm looking at. Like, if you look at all the augments that I'm using, I have no negative drawbacks. If you want to say that the range can be a negative drawback, then okay. But I still get that 2%, that 2.75% towards the melee. So, I mean, you know, take what you can get, you know what I mean? Now, if you grind it enough, you can get the Gigasmite 2 or even the Gigasmite 3. And that'll give you that bump that you're looking for. Now, as far as the Khlophis, should you get it either with the 30 Infernium or the 200 Infernium, that is solely up to you. I really wanted this weapon, so I chose to go with the 30% Infernium versus the 200. I just didn't want to grind that long to try to get it. But if you got it, good, get it. And I'm pretty sure that you could get Infernium from the seasonal vendor, if I'm not mistaken, with the seasonal points. So if you got the 200, spend it on that fixed attack level 3. That gives you a potency of plus 4%, which will go great with this instant death perk. I mean, just look at all of it. I'm not going to math it because I'm not good at math. But just look at all the potency that you're getting. Look at all of this potency. That's a lot of potency that you're getting. That is a lot of potency. Your weapon is going to hit describably hard. It is going to hit hard. And especially with the potency towards dolls too. Come on. Come on. Like, dolls is the main enemies that we go against. You can't tell me that this isn't better than the Tenebrous. You can't. You can't. You can't tell me that between these two perks, that you're not getting more bang for your buck with that. Plus a damage resistance? Come on now. Come on. Now, with the Tenebrous, because I have both of these, as you can see, I have both of these on my character. Just because if I do run into a monster that is weak against ice, I have that option. And it's going to be the same with fire. And it's going to be the same with I think the wind. The wind element, if I'm not mistaken. It's gonna, if I can have all the elements on me and non-element, I'm gonna have it on. I'm not even gonna hold you. I will have it on, just because I want to be able to have options. Of course, you see me with the bow on. I don't use bow, but I have it on just in case. But we're gonna go over the Tenebrous augmentations real quick, just because I just want to explain why I went with certain things with this. So of course, Vardysoul, let me not say I didn't have a choice. I had a choice to keep it or not. I chose to keep it just because the potency was a decent, and plus I got an HP plus 25, and like I said, I like my health to be high as well as get PP. Like, it's the best of both worlds essentially. On Note 4, I mean, Auto Note 4, Jesus. Auto Note gave me the HP plus 10, PP plus 3, and the potency floor increase plus 2%. Like I said, more bang for my buck. And plus, I just didn't have anything else in order to put on there. Well, I mean, I said I didn't have anything else. I wanted an increase in my health and the amount of PP that I was outputting. So that's why I had added that onto that. Gigasmite 2, HP plus 10. Like I said, you could go with the Gigasmite 3, which gives you, I think it gives you HP plus 15 and melee weapon potency plus 2.5%. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm just going off at the top of the dome with that. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct with that. You can go with something a little bit higher if you do have extra cash, or if you do want to grind that out. I think you could get that from the urgent quest, if I'm not mistaken. Ice Exploit 2, I didn't take that off just because it's an ice weapon, and just having that increase against enemies weak to ice is just extremely good. It's just extremely good. And then on top of that, if you were to get, like, let's just say you take it off and then you're like, fuck, I really should have kept that on. You can only get Ice Exploit 1. And I think especially from the vendor, you can only get Ice Exploit 1 and the item trader, if I'm not mistaken. But I know for sure the seasonal vendor, you can only get Ice Exploit 1. So having Ice Exploit 2, way better. Way better. And then of course Dreadkeeper 4. I mean, it's Dreadkeeper 4. Hey, look at that. HP plus 50, PP plus 10, 6% potency floor increase, and 3% damage resistance. I mean, there's just no drawbacks to that. There's no drawbacks to that. I'm hitting almost everything that I've wanted to hit. So, I mean, that's just me, of course. That's just me. I just feel like these perks were the best that I needed to go with at the time. And if I decide to change it, I'll change it. But now we're gonna dive into the damage numbers, and you'll see the damage numbers, and put it down in the comment section below, which one do you feel is better. If somebody else said it's better, you know, hell, link the video in the comment section. I don't care. You know, show me, you know, what they've done and how they made it better. I'm always open to just having a conversation and just talking about it.